2 challenge. Listen to RER 2 hours a day, every day for 2 weeks. You'll learn more about Texas politics in 2 weeks than you've ever known. Mark it on your daily calendar. Set your phone alarm. The RER 2+2 challenge. 2 hours a day, every day for 2 weeks. RagingElePhantsRadio.com, the rebellious voice of Texas liberty.
Find Raging Elephants Radio on Twitter at RE Radio Texas.
Okay, Saints and Patriots, I'm sorry about Facebook. I don't know what the problem is with Facebook. I guess I can make a posting on Facebook, but with all the censorship, who's going to see it anyway, right? I'm on RER Video YouTube channel. The camera is live and working there. And I got to tell you, I'm a little bit discombobulated. Sorry about that. I'm just going to have to, the show's going to have to go on. Gave it the best shot that I could. Behind schedule, I want to thank you guys for your patience. But if you want to see the live video stream, and I've got some great video today, I guess we're just going to have to go RER Video YouTube channel. It's really sad, this whole thing with Facebook and the censorship. And I've got some ideas of how to battle back, but if you can't even get your content up on the page, I mean, what's the point of even trying? My goodness. I'll try to get it worked out this evening, Saints and Patriots. Just more problems. Lord have mercy. Video. All right, let's get into something that really matters. You know, last night I'm watching Fox News. And I think it was Tucker Carlson. I believe it was Tucker. And talking to somebody out of San Fran Freak Show about how they would like to have illegal invaders, otherwise known as California citizens, to actually vote in school board elections. And everybody's acting like they're surprised or something. And I'm like, why is everybody surprised? It's the natural progression of things, is it not? I mean, if illegal invader children are allowed, actually ordered, commanded to be educated in United States government schools, well, when you have wackadoos out there in the People's Republic of California, they're going to go with the logical extension. Well, if their children are in the classroom, well, then certainly they deserve the franchise. Isn't that the legitimate argument? That's got to be the argument that they're presenting out there. I mean, I'm not very confident that a municipality, a school district here would propose that. Well, on second thought, it's a strong possibility right here in Texas. Because if it's going on in California, it's going to happen here. Don't you know that? So if students are allowed to enroll in school and they're not even supposed to be in the country, if these illegal invader children, members of the Dirty Diaper Invasion 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, whatever, if they're allowed to enter into Texas classrooms, well, eventually somebody is going to propose that it's going to happen here. Of course, in San Fran Freak Show, they want illegal invaders, non-citizens, to have the franchise. What the left wants is, if you get into the country, you're an automatic citizen. Just get one toenail on sovereign U.S. soil, and you have all of the rights of citizenship. That is the ultimate goal, don't you know, right? There's no argument there. But if illegal immigrant children are admitted into schools, government schools, eventually the proposal is going to be made. These illegals, their parents, these illegal invader parents who shouldn't even be here, well, then they should be allowed to vote. They should have the franchise, should they not? You know, here in Texas, politicians have been promising to get rid of the DREAM Act. You know what that is? That's illegal children being allowed to apply for admissions, to be admitted, actually, into Texas government institutions of higher learning. There was some controversy a few years ago up on the campus of the University of Texas. I think this was 2013, 2014 back then. Young Conservatives of Texas, the UT chapter, apparently were not happy about the number of illegal invaders that were enrolled in the University of Texas at Austin. So they were going to play a game, let's catch an illegal immigrant. Of course, it caused a stir. And of course, the illegal invader students shouldn't even be in the country, but there they are on the campus of the University of Texas, protesting, speaking out, and proudly declaring, yeah, I'm a dreamer, I'm here illegally, and I'm on the campus of the University of Texas. Here's the report right here.
And dozens of UT students gathered tonight planning to protest the controversial campus game called Catch an Illegal Immigrant. That is our top story, the backlash against that Young Conservatives of UT event now going viral.
And IB's Ashley Godot is live on campus. Ashley?
Well, Terry, this so-called game has caused a blitz of comments online, and it's also getting media attention. But that event is still set to happen here on campus next week, or later this week.
Wednesday afternoon, some students walking around UT's campus will wear the words illegal immigrant on their clothes. If you catch one, you'll win a $25 gift card. It's called Catch an Illegal Immigrant, a game promoted through a Facebook page created by the UT Young Conservatives of Texas to, quote, spark a campus-wide discussion about illegal immigration.
On social media, guys, University Leadership Initiative.
Monday night, students met on campus to organize a protest of the event. Raymond Jose works for United We Dream, a group helping the students plan. He is in the U.S. on a work permit.
My mom and dad, on the other hand, they could be taken away from me at any day. That is a reality that I face, and I don't appreciate when someone makes it into a game.
This is not a game. This is not a joke, and it's something that it shouldn't be here on campus.
Rubia Espericueta is an undocumented student who is legally enrolled at UT under a law created for students who were brought to Texas as children.
I'm a UT student. I'm a Longhorn, and I deserve the same rights as the other students.
A statement from University President Bill Powers reads in part, the proposed YCT event is completely out of line with the values we espouse at the University of Texas at Austin. And he's not the only one speaking out against it. The event organizer, Lorenzo Garcia, worked for Republican Greg Abbott's campaign for governor until 2 months ago. But Abbott's spokesperson released this statement saying in part, our campaign has no affiliation with this repugnant effort. Illegal immigration and the failed policies of the Obama administration are not a joking matter.
Our calls and emails to Garcia and the Young Conservatives of Texas were not answered. The University Leadership Initiative is planning to host a protest Wednesday afternoon across from where this event will be taking place. Reporting live on UT's campus, Ashley Godot, KVU News Night Beat.
All right, Ashley, thanks.
Well, there you have it, Saints and Patriots. That's from like 2013 or so, and the whole thing was about look, there's all these kids on the campus of the UT. They shouldn't even be in the country. This is repulsive. This is intolerable. This is xenophobic. This is racist. The whole 9 yards. I mean, okay, it may be a bit distasteful, but they're getting a point across back then. What are all these kids doing on the campus of the University of Texas? They shouldn't even be in the country. No, it's not a joking matter. You've had Dan Patrick, he promised to get rid of the DREAM Act. It was put in place by Republicans, championed by Republicans, the DREAM Act. So when you see stories like San Fran Freak Show, where they want illegals to now vote in independent or school district elections, school board elections, should we be surprised? The United States government has said that we have to educate these children. We have to. I'm going to take a break right here. When we get back, I'm going to give you the case. Some of you guys already know this. You know this in and out, up and down, the Supreme Court decision that actually demanded, commanded, dictated that the children of illegal invaders themselves, must be educated in Texas schools. Some of you may not know of the case, may have never heard of the case, But I'll tell you what, we're going to slowly go through it so that you are up to speed, up to date on this. Sorry, everybody listening. If you want to watch the live video stream, you're going to have to go to the RER video YouTube channel today, because for whatever reason, Facebook is not going to allow me to video stream today, and I'm too frustrated. I need to absolutely concentrate on the content. And I dressed up for the occasion today. No t-shirt, no nothing. I mean, I have on an actual shirt with a collar, with sleeves and like cuffs and stuff. And you guys can't even see me. Wow. What a bummer. But don't cut the stream, at least the audio stream.
RER Cross is the Christian programming of RagingElePhantsRadio.com. Pastor Stephen Broden is a featured Bible teacher.
What runs interference with God's instructive word are Satan, the world, and the flesh. Out of these three comes doubt, fear, and unbelief. Doubt and fear leads to unbelief. Unbelief, more than any other sin, is targeted towards the very character and integrity of God himself. It challenges God's promises, his stated purposes, and casts dispersion on his plan for you and all who believe. This is what Satan did in the Garden of God with Adam and Eve. Satan led them to believe God was holding back on them and was untruthful about the consequences if they ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
Enjoy Pastor Stephen Broden, 9:30 a.m. and 9:30 p.m. Sundays on RER Cross, right here on RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Green Air Technology will sanitize, sterilize, and defunkifies your home. Our treatment utilizes a high-output biocleaner to eradicate bacteria, germs, and airborne pathogens and allergens in any home, vehicle, or facility. So if your facility or home smells funky like a bow-legged monkey, call Green Air Technologies. We are dedicated to eliminating odor and airborne contaminants at home, at work, or even in your vehicle. Now featuring Biosphere. Call Jim Green at 346-254-9217 or go to greenairtech.com. 346-254-9217 or go to greenairtech.com.
Welcome back, JR Cigar fans. Nick Libretti here, and today we're smoking the brand new Lucia White. All right, here it is, guys. Winner of Half Wheel's New Brand of the Year Award, the Lucia White. Created by Sam Lucia, coming out of Pittsburgh, PA. It created this dynamite brand new smoke. It's a medium to full body Nicaraguan. It's got a sun-grown wrapper on it. You guys who like sun-growns, you know what you're looking for. Spice, a little coffee to it, really rich tasting. Well, this one has it all. Strictly Nicaraguan tobacco, available in a bunch of new sizes at jrcigars.com. Guys, get this brand new one while you can.
Visit JR Cigars through the RER Marketplace.
Stop smoking and enjoy it. Electronic cigarette vaporizers. More than an actual product. This is the name of the company that's going to lead you to a tobacco-free life. Apostle Claver here. ECV is where I went to break my cigar usage. Now I'm a happy vape fan. Vaping, healthy, more socially acceptable. The new cool thing. No one's better in Texas to intro you to the world and tech of vaping than electronic cigarette vaporizers. Bart, Chantal, Max, and Chris will teach you every feature of the dozens of vaping devices to choose from. ECV has a cornucopia of flavors, from fruity to cookies or even tobacco, each made from all natural products. No carcinogens, no smoky smell, and a choice of nicotine levels. Slowly drop your nic level down to 0 and break your tobacco habit with no jitters or stress while enjoying relaxing inhalation. You've been wanting to do it, so do it. Stop smoking and enjoy it. Electronic cigarette vaporizers, 2755 Gessner in Houston. Call 713-939-8273, 713-939-VAPE, or see the ad on RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Listen up, Texans. RER Nation has got to grow. We've got to have those RER app downloads. Android devices. Here's how to share the RER app. Get to your application manager through Settings, tap the RER app logo. There's your Google Play, right? Scroll down, See the share icon? Hit it. Choose text or messenger. Pick a couple of Texas Patriots. Give a testimony in 160 characters. Send. iOS device folks, do the equivalent through the App Store. Let's get it viral. RER app.
Take us wherever you go. Raging Elephants Radio, streaming on your computer, tablet, and smartphone.
Regardless of the video problem, Saints and Patriots, on Facebook, we're going to have a fantastic program today. Pastor Stephen Broden is going to be with me to vote in school board elections. And I'm sitting here listening to this report last night, watching this report last night on Tucker, and I'm saying to myself, well, it's the logical extension. If these children are allowed to sit in government school classrooms ordered to do so by the government, then of course leftists who believe that if you put one toenail on sovereign U.S. soil, you have the right of citizenship, every right of citizenship. Well, of course they're going to want to give them the franchise. Of course. Yes, they're saying local elections now, but pretty soon they will say, regardless of what the Constitution says, regardless of what federal election code says, that illegals or non-citizens can't vote in federal elections. They will push it, and there will be some court like the Ninth Circuit that will say, yes, they must be allowed to vote. Here is the precedent for this, Saints and Patriots. I'm going to slowly read it. It's on Wikipedia. You can find it yourself. I mean, it's footnoted and everything. There's a Wikipedia. Well, you know, if you want to get some quick information, this is the best way to get it done. There was a case back in 1982 that actually came out of Texas, Claver v. Doe. It was a case in which the Supreme Court of the United States struck down both a state statute denying funding for education to undocumented children and a municipal school district's attempt to charge an annual $1,000 tuition fee for each student to compensate for lost state funding. The court found that any state restriction imposed on the rights afforded to children based on their immigration status must be examined under an immediate scrutiny standard to determine whether it furthers a, quote, substantial, end of quote, government interest. The application of Claver v. Doe has been limited to K through 12 schooling. Other court cases and legislation such as Toll v. Marino, 1979, and the Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigration Responsibility Act of 1996 have allowed some states to pass statutes that deny illegal alien students eligibility for in-state tuition, scholarships, or enrollment at public colleges and universities. That wouldn't be in Texas. That would not be in Texas. Illegals can enroll in any school that they want to here in Texas. Here's the summary of the whole matter, Saints and Patriots. Revisions to education laws in Texas in 1975 withheld state funds for educating children who had not been legally admitted to the United States, and authorized local school districts to deny enrollment to such students. A 5-4 majority of the Supreme Court, you know, those gods in black robes up there on Mount Olympus in Washington, Delaware City, found that this policy was in violation of the 14th Amendment, as illegal alien children are people, quote, in an ordinary sense of the term, end of quote, and therefore had protection from discrimination unless a substantial state interest could be shown to justify it. The court majority found that the Texas law was, quote, directed against children and imposed its discriminatory burden on the basis of a legal characteristic over which children can have little control, end of quote. A legal characteristic? How about an illegal characteristic? How about that? The majority have little control. Now, the fact that they're having been brought illegally into the United States by their parents. I mean, all the way back in 1982, this argument has been used to plow ahead with the invasion and the conquest of the United States, but more importantly, Texas. At least we see back in 1982, 1975 to 1982, Texans had their heads screwed on straight about this, and they still have their heads screwed on straight about this. The government, on the other hand, the gods in black robes up there on Mount Olympus in Washington, Devil City, had other things in mind. The article continues. The majority also observed that denying the children in question a proper education would likely contribute to, quote, the creation and perpetuation of a subclass of illiterates within our boundaries, surely adding to the problems and cost of unemployment, welfare, and crime, end of quote. Making law, what they're doing here. Just making law. This is legislation from the bench. The majority refused to accept that any substantial state interest would be served by discrimination on this basis and struck down the Texas law. Texas officials had argued that illegal aliens were not, quote, within the jurisdiction, end of quote, of the state and thus could not claim protections under the 14th Amendment. The court majority rejected this claim, finding that instead that, quote, no plausible distinction with respect to 14th Amendment jurisdiction can be drawn between resident immigrants whose entry into the United States was lawful and resident immigrants whose entry was unlawful, end of quote. My goodness. The dissenting opinion also rejected this claim, agreeing with the court that, quote, the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment applies to immigrants who, after their illegal entry into this country, are indeed physically within the jurisdiction of a state, end of quote. The dissent simply concluded that the distinction the statute drew should survive an equal protection attack. And so this is the dissent. The dissent agreed in principle that it was unwise for illegal alien children to be denied a public education. But the four dissenting justices argued that the Texas law was not so objectionable as to be unconstitutional, that this issue ought to be dealt with through the legislative process, that, quote, the Constitution does not provide a cure for every social ill, nor does it vest judges with a mandate to try to remedy every social problem, end of quote. And that the majority was overstepping its bounds by seeking, quote, to do Congress's job for it, compensating for congressional inaction, end of quote. The case was decided together with Texas v. Get this name of a case. Texas v. certain named and unnamed alien children. So when many of you guys out there weren't even born yet, this idea of the DREAM Act and illegal immigrant children being allowed in the government schools, that battle was already being fought and was already being won by the left and a left-leaning Supreme Court of the United States. Is this going to be overturned at some point? This is precedent that they talk about all the time. Is this going to be overturned at some point? I don't know. But why wouldn't San Fran Freak Show propose letting illegal invaders, otherwise known as citizens of California, vote in school district elections? The gods in black robes have said that the children of illegal invaders themselves must be educated, that they must be afforded 14th Amendment constitutional rights. We got the DREAM Act right here in Texas. There have been those like St. Danny Boy Patrick that promised to get the DREAM Act repealed, campaigned on getting the DREAM Act repealed. It has not been done. The DREAM Act is still in full effect. In fact, you Texas citizens, your children going to college, did you know that a portion of the tuition that you pay is literally appropriated and set aside for a special fund through the Texas Comptroller's Office to give out grants, not loans, grants out to quote-unquote dreamers, not loans, a complete, utter free ride financed by the taxpayers of Texas to children who shouldn't even be in Texas for them to go to Texas government universities and colleges. Free ride, taxpayer funded, right here in Texas. Stop smoking and enjoy it. Electronic cigarette vaporizers. More than an actual product. This is the name of the company that's going to lead you to a tobacco-free life. Apostle Claver here. ECV is where I went to break my cigar usage. Now I'm a happy vape fan. Vaping, healthy, more socially acceptable. The new cool thing, no one's better in Texas to intro you to the world and tech of vaping than electronic cigarette vaporizers. Bart, Chantal, Max, and Chris will teach you every feature of the dozens of vaping devices to choose from. ECV has a cornucopia of flavors, from fruity to cookies or even tobacco, each made from all natural products. No carcinogens, no smoky smell, and the choice of nicotine levels. Slowly drop your nic level down to 0 and break your tobacco habit with no jitters or stress while enjoying relaxing inhalation. You've been wanting to do it, so do it. Stop smoking and enjoy it. Electronic cigarette vaporizers, 2755 Gessner in Houston. Call 713-939-8273, 713-939-VAPE, or see the ad on RagingElephantRadio.com.
Okay, girls, we need a night out without the husbands or the boyfriends or that sort of boyfriend who keeps texting you but never actually asks you out. What's up with that? Tonight is all about us, and with Fandango, it's all planned out. No lines, guaranteed tickets, catch a movie, and then go talk about it for hours. Oh, and we're gonna talk you out of texting that sort of boyfriend too. Yeah, he's gross.
Do Girls Night right with Fandango, your ticket to the movies.
Hey kids, did you know that Daddy's a movie hero? Not the hero in the movies, the hero of going to the movies, buying tickets in advance, whisking his children past long lines to get first pick of seats where they're not blocked by big people heads. You know what they call this guy? Fandango Man.
Be a movie hero with Fandango, your ticket to the family night super-powered best dad ever movies.
No need to thank me, kids, seeing as you don't thank me for simple stuff like food, shelter, pants.
Visit Fandango through the RER Marketplace.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
One of the premier property management companies in Texas, providing below-market rates with above-market amenities and service. Hartman has owned and operated commercial office properties since 1983, offering premium office space at an affordable price by saving businesses a significant amount of money by keeping taxes, utilities, and maintenance low. With over 30 years in commercial leasing in Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas, we have learned exactly what our customers require.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Managed on Christian principles with a strong dedication to community benevolence. Whether you need 1,000 or 10,000 square foot of office space, Hartman has that space in one of nearly 50 Texas locations.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Energy efficient buildings, customer friendly experts, supporters of conservative causes. A Texas owned and operated business for 30 years. A proud corporate sponsor of RagingElephantRadio.com.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Visit Hartman online, hi-REIT.com. Call 800-880-2212 or click the ad on RagingElephantRadio.com.
The battle for liberty rages in every Texas community, none more so than in the nation's fourth largest city, Houston, Texas. A tyrannical mayor denies the right to vote to the citizens of the city, signs executive orders that violate the Texas Constitution and the charter of the city, and issues subpoenas for the sermons of pastors. And when the frontline leaders against the mayor's totalitarian agenda wanted a broadcast partner for their Faith, Family, and Freedom Tour, who did they request? RagingElephantRadio.com.
There are a lot of great folks that we owe a big debt of gratitude for promoting this issue from day one. I want to recognize my friend Claver and the folks over at Raging Elephants over here. He was on it from day one. Every single week this man talks about this issue. And so thank you, Claver, for never giving in, never backing down, and continuing to be that loud conservative voice.
RagingElephantRadio.com, the rebellious voice of Texas liberty.
Get to know Texas politics. RagingElephantRadio.com.
Yes, I'm recovering, Saints and Patriots, from that pathetic opening, all the technical difficulties doing the video streaming. If you're listening by audio and you want to check me out on the video stream, you're going to have to go to RER Video YouTube channel today. I don't know what the problem is with Facebook. I'll try to work on it overnight, or maybe I won't, because I'm not crazy about video anyway. But since I do have some video, I am going to share a video with you of a news report from a few days ago up in Dallas. I shared it with you a few days ago on a program, and I'm going to share it with you again because it's of Pastor Broden and a project that he was successful in completing and putting up a billboard in the Dallas area, kicking up some dust, throwing down the gauntlet. So before I bring him on, check out this video. Well, sorry, Saints and Patriots, this is just not my day when it comes to technology. It ain't playing. Sorry about that, Pastor Broden. Why don't you just come on in here? I played it for everybody the other day. Why don't you just come on in here and tell us all about it? Pastor Stephen Broden, Raging Elephants Radio contributor and SREC committee man. Congratulations on the billboard and all the media attention that it's getting right now.
Well, thank you for having me on, and certainly we are trying to communicate a message to the black community about this scourge that is having an adverse impact on our demography. And the sign is one way to get that information into the community in a broad public way.
Well, it's successful. It's a tried and true method of being able to do that, Pastor Broden. Why don't you begin with the genesis of the project? I don't think this is the first time you guys have done that, but the audience needs to know the organization in which, the umbrella in which you did this project. You have another pastor partner that also is heading up the organization. And I mean, there are those out there that are completely unaware of your previous projects and successes and what led up to this Dallas project, which is indeed causing a media stir in the black community, which is intended to do. Pastor Broden.
The project was started by a group of people here in Dallas who sought to provide resources to those of us who are reaching out into the black community. And through the prompting of Alan West, they understood that a billboard was a possibility. So they asked me to come in and take the lead on the project and to use our organization, the National Black Pro-Life Coalition, which I started back in 2008 with Dr. Johnny Hunter out of North Carolina, which is a group of black pro-life organizations from around the country who coalesce together in order to get information into the community as to the scourge of abortion, its impact on our demography, the impact on the psychological development of our women, and of course, needless to say, the murder of black children at the rate of currently of about 1,800 black babies a day. When the sun goes down at the end of this day, about 1,800 black babies would have been aborted out of their mother's womb. And so we got together with the view of providing three things: information, education, and activation. Information is ask and answer the question, what's going on? To bring them the data and the resources that will help them to develop an understanding as to what abortion is and why it is having a deleterious impact on our community. Education, ask and answer the question, why is this happening? And that's where the spotlight falls on the organization Planned Parenthood and Margaret Sanger. Margaret Sanger said that Negroes are like weeds, we need to get rid of them. And in her attempt to push abortion into the community, she hooked up with W.E. Du Bois and a number of other black pastors and convinced them that the best answer to unintended pregnancy is to abort the babies. And they began to work for her to bring abortion into the community, but it never took because other pastors were preaching against it, and they never took hold in our community. But here of late, since the 1980s, when Jesse Jackson, who was once against abortion, but in order for him to run for president in the 1980s, if you remember, he capitulated to the progressive movement and sanctioned it. And from that point going forward, abortion has been exercised in our community as a means of birth control. And that's unfortunate. Controlling the population growth and controlling the birth rate in our community, black women have been convinced through slick advertisement and sophisticated marketing that the only answer to unintended pregnancy is to abort or murder their babies. So we're put this billboard up that says that healthcare is not, abortion is not healthcare. It hurts women and murders their babies. Is a message that I think is timely, that is appropriate for right now, for Planned Parenthood and the progressive movement in America is trying to convince Americans that if this nominee for the Supreme Court wins the approval of the Senate, he will go after true. And what they're doing is connecting health care to abortion, and they're not the same. There's something totally different. One is taking the life of a human being, and the other has to do with women's health as it relates to cancer and other kinds of things that women are concerned about. It has absolutely nothing to do with that. Abortion is not health care.
And that's what the left does, Pastor Broden, is try to use these tactics, messaging in a way that is quite deceptive. Now, but you've had other projects previously. The billboard that you put up in New York City, was this under the same umbrella organization as the one that you just put up in Dallas?
A different organization, but with the same ideology and the same pursuit. We put one up in New York because the numbers had went upside down back in 2010 and 11, where there was more abortions of black babies than there were live births. That's still true today in New York City. And so we put up a sign in New York City that went controversial and viral all over the country, and we were forced to take it down. It was a $50,000 project, and the message was the most dangerous place for an African American is in its mother's womb. The leading cause of death in America for the black community is abortion. If you look at all the pathologies put together, heart disease, high blood pressure, strokes, death by accident, death by homicide, when you take those numbers and put them all together, it doesn't equal the number of aborted babies in the black community. The number for aborted babies in the black community is somewhere between 470,000 annually to 500,000 annually. This is genocide. This is a kind of genetic genocide that is happening in our community, and we need to stop it. But our women have been deceived, and they believe through the militant feminist movement that if you say anything about it, and I just recently been called a black man who hates black women because I put my sign up here in Dallas. I hate black women. My mama was a black woman. My grandmother was a black woman. I married a black woman, and I got 2 daughters that are black and 3 granddaughters that are black, and I love them madly. But I'm being accused of being a hater of black women right now by the Dallas Observer right here in Texas, in Dallas, Texas. So it's all part of the militant feminist movement to try to deflect from the fact that we are losing our population. The black people in America now are not the number one minority group. We're the second minority group because the Hispanics has overtaken us back in 1990. And it's been, our numbers have been depleting ever since.
And the fact of the matter is, white folks aren't having enough babies. Black folks are killing all their babies, and Hispanics ain't doing nothing but seems like but having babies, Pastor Broden. And it is a genocide. The numbers since Roe v. Wade or something approaching have exceeded 20 million black people, babies, that have been dismembered and murdered in the womb. And for them, the leftist, to project upon you that you hate black women, you're trying to save black people as a whole. But for them, the genocide is so critical and so prevalent and so important to their political agenda. That's why they're calling you all these names, Pastor Broden.
And they have a megaphone that's bigger than mine. They have the liberal media that will take their message, frame it in a way that is palatable for the reader or the listener or the viewer, and then they will paint you as an extreme radical out on the lunatic fringe, and your message is obscured through their soft peddling of what they call a woman's right to choose and a woman's health care decisions. And it's not health care, and a woman does not have a right to murder or take the life of any other human being. But that's precisely what happens. The woman says, it's my body, I can do what I want with my body. Yes, you can with your body, but not with the body of the human being that's on the inside of you. Well, that's my body too. It's not. It's different. It could be a boy and not a girl. And if it's a girl, it could have a different color eyes than you do and color hair. It's not the same. We know scientifically it takes 23 chromosomes from the male and 23 chromosomes from the female to cause a 46 chromosome human being. Right now, you have 46 chromosomes and so do I. And they came together in our mother's womb when the sperm and the egg came together. And that's a human being in there that's different from its mother and different from its father. And the woman does not have a right to take that baby's life. She does not, because it's unique and distinct from her.
An individual human being that has rights from the moment that life is created. When cell splits, one cell becomes two. That's growth. That is life. Pastor Broden, I want to talk more about the Billboard campaign and what it really means as proof positive, as a proven concept, that this type of engagement, this confrontational, if you will, media communications engagement does work. It gets a conversation started. Pastor Stephen Broden is with me. When we get back, we're going to talk about black engagement and the lessons that can be learned from what he just did last week in Dallas. There's people up in Washington, D.C. in the office of the RNC and folks in Austin in the office of the RPT that can be taking some tutorial lessons right now on how to get the conversation going and convert black folks to vote Republican, where they should be doing anyway. Raging Elephants Radio, if you're not listening, you're not learning.
RER Cross is the Christian programming of RagingElephantsRadio.com. Pastor Stephen Broden is a featured Bible teacher.
What runs interference with God's instructive word are Satan, the world, and the flesh. Out of these three comes doubt, fear, and unbelief. Doubt and fear leads to unbelief. Unbelief, more than any other sin, is targeted towards the very character and integrity of God Himself. It challenges God's promises, His stated purposes, and casts dispersion on His plan for you and all who believe. This is what Satan did in the Garden of God with Adam and Eve. Satan led them to believe God was holding back on them and was untruthful about the consequences if they ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
Enjoy Pastor Stephen Broden, 9:30 a.m. and 9:30 p.m. Sundays on RER Cross, right here on RagingElephantsRadio.com.
Automobile aficionado, Apostle Claver here. Let me introduce you to my mechanic, an ASC certified mechanic, Andre at America's Repair in Houston. Now, you guys know I'm a former fully sponsored race car driver, and I own a high-performance auto. You bet I'm particular about who even touches my car. I go to America's Repair to get all my auto auto work done, and you should too. Andre has served Spring Branch and all of Houston for over 20 years. America's Repair will match or beat any competitor's price. All repairs come with a 1-year, 12,000-mile warranty. America's Repair is a complete car care and repair center. State inspection, muffler and exhaust work, wheel alignment, brake work, tune-ups, engine transmission work, auto body and paint. Great deals on oil change and AC checkup. America's Repair accepts all extended warranties. 2005 North Gessner, 1 mile north of Memorial City Mall in the Katy. Wednesday is senior citizen discounts. Thursday, active military discount. Call 713-467-2001. 713-467-2001. AmericasRepair.com or click the ad on RagingElePhantsRadio.com. Stop smoking and enjoy it. Electronic cigarette vaporizers. More than an actual product. This is the name of the company that's going to lead you to a tobacco-free life. Apostle Claver here. ECV is where I went to break my cigar usage. Now I'm a happy vape fan. Vaping, healthy, more socially acceptable. The new cool thing. No one's better in Texas to intro you to the world and tech of vaping than electronic cigarette vaporizers. Bart, Chantal, Max, and Chris will teach you every feature of the dozens of vaping devices to choose from. ECV has a cornucopia of flavors, from fruity to cookies or even tobacco, each made from all natural products. No carcinogens, no smoky smell, and a choice of nicotine levels. Slowly drop your nic level down to 0 and break your tobacco habit with no jitters or stress while enjoying relaxing inhalation. You've been wanting to do it, so do it. Stop smoking and enjoy it. Electronic cigarette vaporizers, 2755 Gessner in Houston. Call 713-939-8273. 713-939-VAPE or see the ad on RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Hey, this is RER's Scott Ford, the Libertarian Professor. For most of us, probably the best way for us to earn our true net worth is to work for ourselves. And that's what the RER Associate Program allows you to do. When you become an RER Associate, you are really starting your own business with great support from the RER team. The compensation package is generous, there's no quotas, training is provided, and it's great if you have B2B sales experience. It's amazing how much of the process is automated. You can grow at your own pace, and that could mean transitioning to full-time. Hey, it's possible. Get all the info and sign-up package. Just email RER ads at RagingElePhantsRadio.com. Once again, that's RER ads at RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Texas Talk is all the rage. Apostle Claver T. Kamau-Imani on RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Just having fun talking Texas Liberty 411. RagingElePhantsRadio.com. On the RER conversation line, it's Pastor Stephen Broden. He's a Raging Elephants Radio contributor, a member of the State Republican Executive Committee, the pastor of Fair Park Fellowship, and does so much more. Talking about the billboard that he put up down in South Dallas on I-75. And Pastor Broden, the thing that I opined about last week when all the news reports came in about the billboard was that this is a lesson that those who say they don't know how to do black engagement can take a lesson from. Those that are in seats of decision making, both in Washington and Austin and in other states, should see the media coverage that this received. Now, as everyone knows, I've put up billboards too, in television commercials and radio commercials. Whenever I leased a billboard, no matter where it was in the United States, I didn't need to send out any press releases. I didn't have to make any media alerts. Just put the billboard up and just wait for everybody to catch up. The media eventually would. And I'm thinking that perhaps that was the same for you with this particular billboard as well. You just put up the billboard and lo and behold, here comes the media. Or did you guys make some media efforts, some press releases? What was the story behind that, Pastor Broden?
No, not at all. We took the same approach that you did. We just put up our message, and we knew it would grab the attention of the community, and some conversations would start, and the media would come tagging along to try to find out as much detail as they can about it, and to cast their spin on it. And as you well know, they spin it in a negative way. And if you read the article that came out in the Dallas Observer here recently. It says the true story behind it, who's doing it, and they, of course, put the spotlight on me, and then it says that our message is a false message because Margaret Sanger was a friend to the black community, and that, and I mentioned in my conversation with him is that scientific evidence points that breast cancer is connected with increased breast cancer to those women who have abortion, because the body apparently, prepares itself for the child and the woman, and prepares to provide milk and all of that, and then suddenly you snatch the baby out and kill it. It has an adverse impact on the women in terms of their breasts. And science has proven that there is an increase in cancer with women in the breast when they have an abortion. So they said that all of our data was wrong and that they used Snoops to come up with an alternative suggestion. Well, Snoops is a liberal, progressive.
It's a propaganda. It's a propaganda shop.
Right.
That's what it is.
Yeah, and you're not going to get the truth from there. Anyone who knows the history of Margaret Sanger knows that Margaret Sanger wanted to control minority populations. She called them useless eaters and imbeciles, and that they do not contribute to culture, so we need to just get rid of them. They're like weeds. That's common knowledge. But this guy reported this thing as if I was putting out false information and I was lying, and then he went and found a militant black feminist who called me a hater of women, and it was just a crazy, crazy article.
Yeah, well, that's why we have Raging Elephants Radio, to be able to get the truth out there, Pastor Broden.
Amen.
Now, here's the thing, though, Pastor Broden, and Eugene was with you, and I'll have Eugene on a little bit later on in the program. In the news report, the video that I showed on last week, and I'll probably show it again today, or I'll be showing the news report from Fox 4 up there in your area constantly. There were two black people, a man and a woman on the street, if you will, that the news reporter went to and asked their opinion. And in both cases, the man and the woman, they were adamantly against abortion. Now, the woman tried to equivocate a little bit, but the man was absolutely, he was like, no, it's wrong. And I said in my statements in the follow-up to that video, to that news report, I said, but I bet both of them vote Democrat. But I bet both of them vote Democrat. There was a man and a woman, both black, in the Dallas area, obviously, responding to the billboard. The reporter does a man on the street kind of thing. What does the common person say about this controversy? And then both of those black people said they were against abortion. The man was absolutely
exactly right.
Adamantly against it. But I bet odds are that they vote Democrat. What do you say, Pastor Broden?
That's probably true. And here's the reality. Most African Americans are conservative in their worldview and would subscribe to a conservative philosophy. However, because there has been a failure on the part of the Republican Party to advance its message into the community, they allow the Democrats to frame and articulate who the Republicans are through their voice as opposed to the voice of the Republican Party. And the Republican Party has capitulated and have allowed that to happen. It's time for that to stop. As a black conservative, I recognize that there is a need for us to frame our own message, to make a juxtaposition as to what our platform stands for versus their platform. And most African Americans will agree with our platform and what we believe as fiscal conservative Republicans would subscribe to and vote for candidates who would at least, at a minimum, reach out to the black community and say, I'm here for you. I know this has not been your pattern in the past, but I want you to know that when I get to Washington or when I get to Austin or when I go downtown, I'm going to represent your interests. That's not happening. And in many instances, because the consultants who advise these candidates have said to them, don't waste your time in the black community. And as a candidate, you're going to listen to your consultant. And they're going to tell you that because the consultants, they don't know how to do outreach into the black community, engagement in the black. They don't know the first thing about it. And they're not going to recommend that they hire someone to do it like you and I, because they don't want to mess with their money base. And so they're willing to write us off and to let the Democrats have unfettered access to our community and define who the Republicans are and frame a negative message that does not represent who we are in the light of truth.
Pastor Broden, last week when I was talking about the success you are having with this single billboard that's causing a stir, it's just one billboard, right? Just put up one billboard in the heart of the black community, correct?
That's right, but we're going to try to do some more.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it just takes one. I mean, I put up just one in some communities, just one, and it caused a stink. What gave me my first national exposure was just one big, huge billboard in the middle of Third Ward, just one that brought out Quanell X and all of his gangsters. Just one billboard started the whole thing off. But I had a conversation, and I shared this with the audience last week. I had a conversation with a party official who shall remain anonymous, because I believe that the core group of us may have to work with this individual, and I don't necessarily want to call them out because they could be someone vital. But in this conversation, what was suggested by this party official was that, well, what should happen is you should start your own independent organization, your own, outside of the party, away from the party type of thing. And I'm thinking at this time, wait a minute, that's what we've already done. That's what you just did last week. What we're trying to do as the core group that was announced at the RENC summer meeting back on July 19th, you got up and you announced to the party right then and there. There's a core group of Texas black Republicans that want to try and persuade the party to do what we as individual organizations don't have the power to do, and that is proper black engagement. That's great if we have other organizations to come up behind what the party is doing and bolster what the party is doing, and maybe focus on niches within the community that are issues within the community that the party may be overlooking or underemphasizing, but the party itself should be doing it, and they need to be looking to those of us who have had independent organizations on how to do it. The main argument that I have is that the party is the money magnet. It has the ability, it is the organization to raise the money that is necessary to put on a 24/7, 365 black engagement department, division. It should be ongoing at all times. There should be a team within the RPT, within the RNC, fully staffed to get this done. Instead, the party official is saying, go build your own individual organization. We've already done that for over a decade. We've already done that. You've done that. I've done that. Eugene has done that. We've already done that. We have concept proven by what we as individual organizations have been able to achieve in just earned media, in free media. We're showing you what can be done. The party muscle needs to be put behind this. It will be much more effectual. That's what needs to be done. Pastor Broden, your thoughts about my commentary?
Well, I think you're dead on. That there's a truth to what you're saying. There needs to be an investment. And the investment requires a trust level that we know what we're talking about and we know how to do it. So we're asking you to invest in us, to make a commitment as a party, to reach out to low-hanging fruit. The difference between the black community, the Hispanic community, and in other minority community is that black people will vote. They will vote. Hispanic community, they're not voting in the numbers that black people vote. So it is worth the effort, it is worth the energy to invest in getting our message out to the community, allowing them to take a candid look at who we are and see us for who we say we are, as opposed to what the Democrats say we are. And that way we can develop and nurture, I think, a consistent voting bloc that will vote for our platform, vote for our ideas, vote for our philosophy, our way of governance that will help this state turn deep red, number one, and help the country in those purple areas and in those areas that are even blue. That if you can persuade the black community, in numbers representing about 8 to 10%. That's all we're talking about, is moving the needle in the black community 8 to 10%. It will change the way the state of Texas looks forever, and will change the way this country looks, because black people will come over and vote for us, and our candidates will get in office, and then we can begin to implement a conservative ideology that will help to rescue this republic from the progressive movement that has used the black community as a means of advancing their ideology, to the extent that we're in the mess that we're in right now, because they have convinced black people to vote straight ticket. They don't even know who's on the list. They just vote straight ticket because they believe the most dangerous organization in America is the Republican Party. And why do they believe that? And why do they believe that? Because the Democrats said that.
Yeah, and the Republicans have neglected the black community for 50 years. They vote straight ticket genocide. I only got about 90 seconds, Pastor Broden. I have to get Alice in here. What's the possibility of perhaps a party committee being created to oversee or to press the party continually to do the engagement in the black community that needs to be done?
Well, I think we are. There's a core group of us, and you're part of that core group. And it's our ambition to convince our leadership, the state leadership, that's at the governor level, the lieutenant governor, and James Dickey, that this is worth the investment, to make the monetary investment, get the staffing, both in the RPT and out into the fields, and the precincts and in the county chairs, to go to work to change the way black people vote in the great state of Texas. And it can happen even with this short notice. We can move the needle if they make the investment. I think that the committee is together. We just need to stay engaged, be persistent, knock at the door, don't be discouraged, and keep telling them this is what they must do. You know, the party has made a commitment to the Hispanic community, and they are making an investment in the Hispanic community, but they're not doing it in the black community. Go to the RPT website right now and see that they have an investment that is being made that's evident in that there is information on the website about Hispanics and Asian, but there is nothing, zero, about the black community.
Wow.
That needs to change. That needs to change.
Wow. That is unbelievable. That leaves them liable to all types of attacks from the left and the right, even Republicans themselves. That's unbelievable. Thanks a lot, Pastor Broden. I'm completely out of time. Got to have you back again next week. This is a subject matter that we are going to be talking about consistently. Also, the speaker's race is a hot topic that we need to talk about. And don't forget to pick up Pastor Broden's book, Pawns of Change, from the website throughpeople.com. Throughpeople.com. Pawns of Change, talking about this very issue, black engagement. Bless you, Pastor Broden. Talk to you next week.
You bet.
Don't cut the stream, Saints and Patriots. If you're not listening, you're not learning.
Hey, Barry the Music Man here for Tejas Smoke Depot. They have everything you need when it comes to smoke. Check out the 150 square foot walk-in humidor filled with a huge selection of fine cigars. Or give them a call at 830-990-1472 and order up what you want. Maybe you like to roll your own. They have it. Maybe you need a gift for a smoker in the family. How about a new pipe? They have a large selection, even a cross-section of great beers in stock. In a hurry, come by and use the drive-thru. Located at 1639 West Highway 290 in Fredericksburg, Texas. Out of town? Visit them at the website, TejasSmokeDepot.com, or call 830-990-1472. That's 830-990-1472. It's smoking.
Texas Specialties is in a little town of 1,000, Three Rivers, Texas. Texas Specialties is a small family business in a town where treating people right is a way of life. The Stubbs family's Texas Specialties. started out doing high-quality t-shirts for Texas music scene bands at affordable prices. Everything, the design, the artwork, the printing, accepting minimum orders, even selling t-shirts for the bands online. And now they bring that experience to you anywhere in Texas. Texas Specialties can do the same for any small business, for teachers, for schools, dance classes, athletic teams, clubs, and anyone needing good quality screen printing at an affordable price. The Stubbs family loves to work with ideas and the people who have them. Your experience with Texas Specialties will be excellent. Anything less just will not do. Call 361-784-2052, 361-784-2052. Click Texas Specialties. Ad on RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Hi there, my name is Mark Cranenberg and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to talk about my favorite order from Chicago Steak Company. It's the classic prime assortment. All right, well, let's open up and have a look what's inside. So right away we've got two 6-ounce filet mignons. If you know anything about steak, it's really rare to see filet mignons with that kind of marbling in it. Just beautiful steak. And then next we've got the two 12-ounce USDA prime strip steaks. Just look at how thick these things are. They're just beautiful. Again, beautifully marbled, amazing steak. Then we've got two USDA prime ribeyes. And if you like steak that is just mouth-watering, this is the steak for you. With all that marbling inside, you'll see it's thicker. The marbling is a lot thicker. That just means more moisture throughout your steak. Now we've got 6 USDA prime top sirloin steaks. These are the steaks that everyone's gonna love. And then we're moving into our next package. Next we have 16 4-ounce gourmet Angus steak burgers. These are amazing burgers that everyone's gonna love. And to top it all off, they give you one container of my favorite steak seasoning of all time, the Chicago Steak Spice. And you're gonna love it too. So there you have the classic prime assortment. My favorite and your ultimate steak experience. So be sure to order your steak today at mychicagosteak.com. I'm Mark. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and we'll see you next time at mychicagosteak.com.
Visit Chicago Steak Company through the RER Marketplace.
Here's how to use the RER app on your commute and get the latest Liberty 411. First, download the RER app on your smart device, phone or tablet, Apple or Android. Search Raging Elephants Radio in your App Store or Google Play and hit the search button on your keyboard. Connect your device to your car audio system. Do it via Bluetooth or auxiliary jack. You riding old school? Stick in some quality earbuds and enjoy the serious HD stereo. No excuses. It's here. RER app.
Numbers equal power. Spread the word about RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Eugene just sent me a text, and he thinks it's Google and the NSA that are conspiring against me. And Facebook. I mean, everything is going wacky today. Everything. Dropping frames on the RER video stream. I don't know what the internet is doing. Eugene is saying my emails are bouncing back. It's just one of those days, Saints and Patriots, where you think the government is going crazy. They're after me. Okay, before I bring in Alice, I do want to play, for you guys that did not see the video clip, I do want to play the video clip of Pastor Broden. So here's Pastor Broden. This was what the report that was put on by Fox News 4 up in DFW. And I want to, if you haven't seen the video, if you haven't seen the report, I want to go ahead and play the news report. This is what Fox 4 reported up there. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm sorry. This is the crazy, Alice, this is the craziest day ever. The video, I mean, the video's not working. The internet's not working. Everything is just crazy. Alice, save me, please.
It's a conspiracy. They are conspiring.
You know, I hate to think that, but when everything starts going weird and wrong at the same time, it's highly frustrating when you're trying to do a high-quality communications production here. How are you, Alice, my dear? How are you? I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing well. I'm back at home, done vacationing, time to get back to reality.
School in just a few more weeks, right?
Yes. Actually, we start next week with homeschooling. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Alice, here's the deal. What caught my attention a few weeks ago was the announcement that the Trump administration was going to put another nail into the coffin of government schooling, proper government schooling, education here in the United States, and most importantly to me, Texas. Doing something that's absolutely Marxist, the combining of the Department of Education and Department of Labor, and we've gone through the serious implications of that, what it means for our children, the future of the country. It's a Soviet education model. That's what it is, a Soviet-style education model that is a reality, more and more so every single day here in the United States. And Texas is not exempt from it. It's just as bad here as it is in California or anywhere else. It's a nationally controlled education system, and the children are being violated. Their privacy is being violated. They're being monetized, and they're not being taught. It does not bode well for the future of the country, for the children, and the quality of their lives. And unfortunately, most parents are unaware that this is even going on. Now, there's more news coming out of Washington, Devil City about this effort, the combination of the Departments of Education and the Departments of Labor. And I think you wanted to give us an update on that, or a different point of view, a different perspective of what's going on in that move coming out of Washington, Devil City. Alice, what do you have for us this week?
Thank you, and you're right on target, unfortunately. And I want to give people a little history and something to research for themselves, so that they understand where this is coming from. This whole system that our transformation in education goes way back, and one of the key points in time was in 1992, actually, when Bill Clinton was in office. And people will remember at that time, Hillary Clinton was working on her Hillary Care plan, which ended up becoming Obamacare. Well, when she was developing and working on Hillary Care, at the same time, she was working with a guy named Mark Tucker to basically come up with the blueprint to federalize education. And there's an infamous letter that Mark Tucker wrote to Hillary Clinton that basically lays out the blueprint. So what we are seeing today, this did not start with Trump, but unless those of us who understand the picture get to the elected officials, get to the people who are surrounding Trump, and those in our state legislatures, to help them to understand where this is all coming from, we're just going to continue going down this path. So you are correct. There was a bill passed this week. It's H.R. 2353. It passed Congress through a voice vote, and then President Clinton signed it into law. And what it was a reauthorization of the...
You said President Clinton. You meant President Trump, correct?
I'm sorry. Yes, President Trump.
Okay.
Sorry, President Trump.
All right.
It's the Perkins reauthorization. And the name of this reauthorization is the Carl Perkins Career and Technical Education, CTE. And when people hear career tech, they're thinking, oh yes, we want our kids to have a great vocational education so that they can get a job. I want to read for folks a quote that, and those of us who've been involved in the grassroots in Texas know who Joanne Fleming is, and she had a quote that I want to read to folks because she so nailed it. And this quote doesn't come from as a result of this bill that I just talked about. This is actually in a letter that Joanne Fleming authored to get our Texas legislature to stop passing these career tech ed bills at the state level. And so she says, workforce training is not about vocational training. Rather, it is a vehicle for a new governance structure that opposes free enterprise and representative government in favor of a centrally planned and managed economy. The government, in alliance with big business, herds unsuspecting parents and students into early workforce paths in order to crank out ready-made widget producers or coders for big business. Rhetorical flourishes aside, this is a freedom-crushing, individual liberty-stealing plan. And when we read what is in this bill that passed this week, this federal legislation, you see the connection between this system that has been put in place, locked in place like a set of gears at the federal level and at the state level. What this Perkins reauthorization, what this bill contains is it embraces the whole concept of central economic planning. It requires state, regional, and local labor market data collection. We talked about the data to determine alignment of eligible recipients. So when you take this money, when the state starts doling this money out, it's required to collect all this data on individual recipients. That's a big problem. It also it refers to the state board. It's a government-appointed bureaucrats. It's not locally elected. There are, in Texas, we have this alliance already developed between the workforce, the labor, and education. They are collecting data on individual students and putting it into the SDL that was set up to collect data to make sure that no child is left behind. So it also has key components about public-private partnerships, which we know are a big problem. The Department of Labor gets to choose what private industry sectors are promoted in each state. K through 12 and state colleges basically are dumping true academics, which we've been talking about for several years now, this whole shift away from academics to the behavioral. The behavioral is compliance. It's training workers for a global economy. It is not educating individual citizens who are free to go on and innovate. And if we think about it, why is the United States exceptional? What made the United States the greatest economy in the world? It was when we had a education system that taught reading, writing, math, and history. This K-12 system, when people graduated, they were free. They were free to go to college and continue their academic studies, or they were free to go down a vocational way and start making money. But they were free to decide, and that's when innovation and opportunity is launched, and that's what creates the greatest economy in the world. What we are doing is falling in line with communism, with what has taken down countless numbers of countries. And this is being done systematically, and those who want to equalize America in the world, who are globalists, are behind this, and we need to call it what it is and start holding our elected officials accountable for passing it.
Do you believe that there are those in the Trump administration, Alice, that simply are unaware of the damage that they're doing? They think they're doing the best for the children. They're not aware of the violations against our children. They're not aware of the miseducation, the disservice that's being done to our children and our future generations. Are they just flat out bought out, or are they just really that dim-witted? They've been duped. What do you think the reasoning is, Alice?
They've been duped. I know that Ivanka Trump is very much involved in this, and Ivanka Trump is a 30-something-year-old who, frankly, didn't grow up in the real world that normal, everyday American citizens, grew up in. And I think that there are a lot of 30-something-year-olds who don't know this history, who don't know the battles that have been fought in the past against outcome-based education. They just don't know, and they don't have children old enough to be, or even in the public school system to even understand. They believe the term workforce is a great thing. They believe that their job is to, create all these jobs. That's not the job of the government. The job of the government is to stay out of the way so that the free enterprise system can work, so that capitalism can work. This is not capitalism. This is crony capitalism. This is the corruption and frankly the systematic organization of an economy. So I don't think Ivanka Trump understands what is actually happening. But
there's others like Betsy DeVos
right.
that understands what's happening. The
yes.
Secretary of Labor knows what's going on. Elaine Chao, the Secretary of Transportation, knows what's going on. They know what's going on. Jeb exclamation point knows what's going on. Bill Gates knows what's going on. Charles Butt knows what's going on. And a lot of these nim-nongs underneath the pink dome, they do know. They are useful idiots. They want their pensions, and as long as big education industrial complex keeps tossing five-figure campaign checks at them, they're going to allow the monetization and the violation of our children, Alice. That's my point of view. Do you agree?
I agree 100%. I agree 100%. And that's why I do believe that if we can make enough noise, if people can stand up and care enough to protect not only our children, but their future and the future of this country. That's what this is really all about. We have got to be able to get to those elected officials, the Bob Halls of the world, the Matt Rinaldis of the world, the Van Taylors of the world.
Alice, what happened to part of being Republican orthodoxy in the Department of Education, in control, centralized control of education, curriculum, the education of our children from Washington, Delaware City? That's not what the nation was founded upon. It was founded upon local control over curriculum and the education of our children. What happened to that Republican orthodoxy? It's been tossed out of the window, and anything that comes along that exacerbates this anti-constitutional principle, the antithesis of what education is supposed to be in the United States, decentralized as is governance, they seem to buy it hook, line, and sinker. What happened to this orthodoxy, Alice? Within the party, within the Republican Party.
You're exactly right. And what happened is that these nonprofit think tanks have been established with the sole goal of creating the talking points, of creating the so-called evidence-based research papers to deceive those that got in office for the right reasons. I know that I make people mad. TPPF, Texas Public Policy Foundation, is a huge problem in Texas with the Republican Party, with those who find themselves between a rock and a hard place because they can't oppose the bad school choice. They can't oppose what is happening because they won't get reelected because they won't have the backing of TPPF. It is not by happenstance that the voice and the face of school choice in TPPF it has direct ties to Phil Gramm. And if you know the history about Phil Gramm and the work that he did back in the 90s, he worked directly with President Bill Clinton to repeal the Glass-Steagall Act, which was put in place in 1933 to stop the corruption of the banking system. They repealed that and so that they could set up this whole economy of this public-private partnership. Phil Gramm was key in that repealing. Phil Gramm and his wife are the key economists with TPPF. Phil Gramm is who brought Stacey Hawk, who is the fellow at TPPF, who's the face of school choice. Phil Gramm, and I know this for a fact because I had a 2-hour conference call with Stacey Hawk, and she explained how she got connected with TPPF was through Phil Gramm. People need to understand one of the key people who is an advisor to President Trump is Brooke Rollins with TPPF. So we need to understand here in Texas, these nonprofit organizations that have infiltrated the Republican Party are not our friend, and they are working hand in hand with the Bill Clintons of the world to reorganize our economy and create a controlled economy. Now, I know that's not that people don't want to call out our friends in the grassroots that we've been working for, but there are a lot of people within these organizations. Empower Texans is another one. I know that Empower Texans supports public-private partnerships. Why are we not calling these nonprofit think tanks out for their condoning and pushing of public-private partnerships? We need to start saying it for what it is and calling it out, because that's who's holding those in the Republican Party between a rock and a hard place.
Alice, thanks so much for what you're doing. I'm completely, totally out of time, and I really, really do appreciate this. This is a conversation that every week it continues, because every week they continue to do stupid stuff, don't they?
They do. They do. We'll keep covering it, and I thank you for the opportunity.
You're awesome, Alice. Thanks so much. Alice Linehan, Raging Elephants radio contributor, Women on the Wall. She handles big education for us, the big education industrial complex. They pour a lot of money into Texas politics, and thus the ability for us to get good education for our children, well, it's been corrupted. Hey, before I go to commercial break, I do want to feature this video of Pastor Broden and Eugene Routh, who's coming up next, about the billboard that they put up in Dallas. I'm going to get it to play this time. No, we're not going to have any technical difficulties. Not this time, not at all. Pastor Broden, Fox News 4, and that fantastic billboard, they lay down the gauntlet. Here it is.
Against this scourge that is happening in our community.
The billboard in heavily Hispanic and African American Pleasant.
Southeast Dallas commuters are seeing what some describe as a controversial message as they drive into Dallas. The billboard with the message, "Abortion is not health care," are being sponsored by a group called the National Black Pro-Life Coalition. Fox 4's Sean Rabb is in now with who this organization is and their message.
Yeah, Clarice, the coalition says it's comprised of pro-life groups from across the nation. Their mission to make people, especially of color, think differently about abortions. The advertising campaign's been in other parts of the country. This now the first time in North Texas. Travelers along Highway 175 in southeast Dallas see a message being driven home.
It says abortion is not health care. It hurts women and murders babies.
Pastor Stefan Broden and North Carolina Reverend Dr. John Hunter founded the National Black Pro-Life Coalition in 2008. The group paying for the billboard campaign that's come to Dallas after going up in other parts of the country.
Bringing information and education in order to activate the community against this scourge that is happening in our community.
The billboard in heavily Hispanic and African American Pleasant Grove.
And we're trying to get this message out to the minority community, specifically the black community, because we have the highest concentration of abortion done on our people.
Some women might have circumstances where they don't want the child. So my belief, I don't believe in abortion, but most people do.
A just-released Wall Street Journal poll shows support for abortion in America is at an all-time high. 71% of respondents say Roe v. Wade, the Dallas case, which gives women rights to abortion, should not be overturned. 23% say it should be reversed.
It's wrong, because, it's better to give them up for adoption than, but that's, so I say it's wrong completely.
Divided opinions here, just as the nation's been since Roe v. Wade became law, setting the stage for the confirmation hearings of appeals court judge Brett Kavanaugh to become the next Supreme Court justice, who could point the court in a more conservative direction.
I'm hopeful that he will be approved, and I believe the issue should come before the Supreme Court.
Well, the billboards went up Thursday, and they will run in some form over the next 4 months.
Beautiful. I love it. Let's take a break right here, and then let's bring in Eugene Ralph. And here's the thing, Saints and Patriots. Like I've been saying, concept proven. If the RPT doesn't know what to do, if the RNC doesn't know what to do, there are those of us out here that are activists within the Republican Party. Well, just ask us. We know what to do. One of them is coming up next. His name is Eugene Ralph. I want to get his take on this whole thing, because you saw Eugene in that video clip right there from Fox News 4. Eugene Ralph, Raging Elephants radio contributor, is up next. Close out this fantastic program. All the technical difficulties. Video.
Green Air technology will sanitize, sterilize, and defunctifies your home. Our treatment utilizes a high-output biocleaner to eradicate bacteria, germs, and airborne pathogens and allergens in any home, vehicle, or facility. So if your facility or home smells funky like a bow-legged monkey, call Green Air Technologies. We are dedicated to eliminating odor and airborne contaminants at home, at work, or even in your vehicle.
Now featuring Biosphere.
Call Jim Green at 346-254-9217 or go to greenairtech.com. 346-254-9217 or go to greenairtech.com.
When Andrew Jackson ran for president in 1828, his opponents called him a jackass. Jackson liked the image so much, it became the mascot of the new Democratic Party.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
One of the premier property management companies in Texas, providing below-market rates with above-market amenities and service. Hartman has owned and operated commercial office properties since 1983, offering premium office space at an affordable price by saving businesses a significant amount of money by keeping taxes, utilities, and maintenance low. With over 30 years in commercial leasing in Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas, we have learned exactly what our customers require.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Managed on Christian principles with a strong dedication to community benevolence. Whether you need 1,000 or 10,000 square foot of office space, Hartman has that space in one of nearly 50 Texas locations.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Energy-efficient buildings, customer-friendly experts, supporters of conservative causes. A Texas-owned and operated business for 30 years. Tires, a proud corporate sponsor of RagingElephantRadio.com.
The power of proven results.
Visit Hartman online, hi-REIT.com. Call 800-880-2212 or click the ad on RagingElephantRadio.com.
Maintaining your home air conditioner is just as important as maintenance on your car. You don't know the big difference there's going to be until you've had the work done. I thought my system was working fine, but now it's better than ever. Galen Beatty did it for me, and he'll do it for you. Good servicing will not only keep your system performing well during the sweltering summers here in Houston, but it will save you money year after year. In my case, it cut my AC power consumption by 20%. Do what I did. Have Galen Beatty set up regular AC maintenance to cut your energy bill and prevent system failure at the worst time. And what's better than being comfortable and saving money? Whether you need a basic tune-up or it's time to put in a new super efficient system, you should call Beatty AC 281-222-9591. That's 281-222-9591 to schedule an AC system tune-up. Beatty AC and Heat. That's B-E-E-D-E AC and Heat.com. Beatty AC and Heat.com.
What do you care about Washington, D.C.? D.C. doesn't care about you. You're a Texan. You're a Texan above all else. And there's only one radio station that's going to feed your need for Texas power and independence. RagingElephantRadio.com. Finally, the Patriots of the Lone Star State have a unified voice to fight back and organize. 24/7, 365. RagingElephantRadio.com is going to give you what you need to know about Texas politics, liberty, and independence. Take us wherever you go. RagingElephantRadio.com. Streaming on your computer, smartphone, tablet, and internet auto.
Texas Talk is all the rage. Apostle Claver T. Kamau-Imani on RagingElephantRadio.com.
We are your Texas network. We're RagingElephantRadio.com. Hey, what's up, Saints and Patriots? Just having fun talking Texas Liberty 411 is in today's program. Strong. Put on your flame retardant Nomex, because it's my ultra-conservative soul brother, Eugene Ralph, out of the Metroplex. Game Changers is the name of the organization, GameChangers.org. That's spelled C-H-A-I-N, GameChangers.org. Eugene, congratulations on the billboard, my man. And what I've been saying, what I've been arguing, my opinion is concept proven. There it is, proof of concept. That something as simple, and that's not to disparage the effort at all. That's not to understate the effort. But it is relatively simple to put up a billboard in the black community that's going to stir up some conversation that doesn't take a lot of brain power. It's a Captain Obvious type of strategic move. You guys did it, and once again, the concept has been proven. Just something as simple as this can make inroads in the black community and get some conversion politics going, Eugene. Congratulations, my man.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, it's amazing how doing something so simple can actually get so much accomplished. Pastor Broden was sharing with me just the other day that there was townhall.com picked it up, and I think that's a national online publication.
That's right.
So it's getting some legs, and hopefully over the course of the next few weeks we can see it grow even more so. I was just telling my wife last night that, on that particular stretch of road, it leads into the city. So as people are driving into the city, once school starts, the traffic will be slowing down, and there'll be a lot more people actually able to see that billboard and ponder it. And, the first part of the billboard says abortion is not health care. And that was done intentionally to help to develop an understanding that much of what you hear on the radio and the TV coming from primarily the left in regard to abortion being healthcare is a lie. It's designed to do that, and it's designed to make people think, and hopefully, hearts and minds will be changed as a result of this.
Eugene, what would happen if the Republican Party of Texas decided to put up 4 of these types of billboards in Dallas, 4 in Fort Worth, 4 in East Austin, 4 in East San Antonio, 4 in one of the numerous, 4 or 5 in one of the numerous black neighborhoods, one of the wards here in Houston, maybe even a few behind the Pine Curtain where the majority of black people actually live outside of the metropolitan areas? What do you think the impact would be media-wise? Impact on the leftist leaders, if you can, the communist leaders in these communities, to see these billboards go up? They would lose their very minds. That's what happened. It would be the subject of sermons, I believe, on Sunday morning in some black churches, Eugene. That's what I think. What do you think would happen if an earnest, honest effort was put forth like that by the party that has more financial muscle? Eugene, go ahead.
I believe the impact would be equivalent to Trump tweeting outside the media. So basically what we're doing is going directly to the people with a message, and that is huge. And that is what's so important. And so if the Republican Party would actually do something similar and just go directly to the people, get no filter, just put your message out there, whatever it happens to be, and cause people to really give some thought to our perspective, I think that there's a realistic possibility things could change and rather quickly. But getting them to understand that has always been the challenge.
Eugene, here's the thing, though. I believe that. All right, so I gave my opinion last week to the audience, and I shared with them. And I talked to Pastor Broden about this a little bit earlier as well. You may have heard it. I had a conversation with an internal party official, and I'm going to leave that person anonymous because I do believe.
Yes, I did hear that.
Yeah, I do believe this person really does care about black engagement, and it's basically kind of at a loss for what to do. But what was said to me was what needs to be done is an organization outside of the party needs to be started, and if that is established, then perhaps some money can be raised for it. I'm thinking to myself the whole time, what do you think we've been doing for the last 12 years? We've been asking for the party to assist us, and all we've gotten is a stiff arm and probably giggling behind our back because they're getting, why buy the cow when you're getting the milk for free? And so I didn't want to take offense at the suggestion, but the point was we've already been doing that, and here it is, another effort by another outside organization with no support from the Republican Party, namely the billboard that went up in Dallas last week. Another outside organization proving the concept proven, and the party needs to be doing this. I mean, that's my point. Don't tell us to go start another organization. That's how people have known us. That's how we have already worked. We're trying to relinquish the responsibility and place it upon the party that has the ability to be much more effective because they can raise the money. They're the party. They are the organization. There are only two major political parties in this nation. Our ability to duplicate or to replicate what the GOP is able to do, that's foolhardy to think that, Eugene. Your thoughts?
Yes, that aspect of it has always never ceased to amaze me because when you look at the other side, the Democrats, they have the party that does the heavy lifting, but they also have outside entities like us doing a lot of the other work. And so our individual organizations are designed to do specific things with all leading to one goal. The sad reality is, unfortunately, the Republican Party, regardless to whether it's local, state, or national, has not gotten this point yet. And hopefully at some point soon, they will get it because the bottom line is when we consider where the votes are, and you and Pastor Broden alluded to this as well, where the votes are, the votes for the Republican Party is in the black community. And when you look at, I used this term some time ago, and Pastor Broden thought it was a little odd, but, from the universe that I come from, it's a very common term that the chronic voters, the people who turn out for almost every election, regardless to how big or small that election is, the chronic voters on the Democrat side is the black voters. Those people turn out. They turn out day in, day out, and often they are sent. And I've worked the polls enough, and I know when the message has gone out to go vote versus when it didn't. Because when it didn't, and it's a low turnout expected race, we have 25 people show up all day. But on a day when it's supposed to be a low turnout race and the message has gone out, all of a sudden that number jumps to 150 at one polling location, depending on how many precincts we have in that location. So what I'm saying is that, the Republicans have to do a better job, not only of getting the black vote out, but getting the vote out, period, because much of what I see is the efforts that are being promoted by the Republican Party to get the vote out is what you and I refer to as old school. And old school is nothing wrong with that as long as you're implementing the new school policies along with it. Because you see, you can't as we move forward in this situation we find ourselves in, we have to use all of the tools available to us, and that's a combination of both old tactics and new tactics, and some of the old tactics being modified in order to be the most possible effective as we can. Because everybody has a certain amount of time that they are able to contribute to these efforts. And, often they'll on the Republican side, we're constantly hearing about volunteers for this and volunteers for that, and all that's fine and dandy. But people are stretched out. And the bottom line is, because we don't have enough involvement on the Republican side generally, we don't have enough of a pool of volunteers to select from. I don't necessarily know what the Democrats are doing, except the fact that I do know that they have what is called paid volunteers. We don't have that over here for all kinds of reasons. So my point is that when it gets down to it, when it gets down to getting the work done, if you're not going to pay it one way, you're going to have to pay it a different way. And so the billboards are, in my opinion, some of the most effective ways to get your message out. That's the reason why they charge so much for these billboards. You put a billboard up, it's going to be up there for 30 days, and you're going to have hundreds of thousands of people looking at that billboard, passing that billboard every day. You put a good message up there, trust me, not only will those people see it, they're going to talk about it, and it will be talked about in all the local media arenas, and constantly giving voice to your message, whether it's negative or positive. The bottom line is, as long as you continue to have a good website attached to it that gives more information on what your message is, that is all designed to help to drive the narrative in the direction that we want it to go. And so, us putting this billboard up was just trying to get this conversation started, because it is so crucial. When, they actually did not include some of the stats that I shared with them in that interview, and I think that was on purpose, that when I talked about how the percentages, black women consist of 6% of the population, but actually account for about 38% of all abortions done. When it comes to Hispanic women, they consist of about 9% of the population. They have about 20% of all abortions done. So those statistics are not the kind of things that they actually want to share and let the public hear, because I'm going to tell you something. There's not a liberal, or I would say a liberal voter that I've ever talked to, when I share those kind of stats, ever had this most dumbfounded look on their face that you could ever imagine. They were shocked by that.
Let me jump in real quick, Eugene. Just one last question. I only have about 90 seconds. But in the news report from Fox 4, they interviewed a couple of people on the street, a man and a woman, both a black man and a black woman, and both of them were against abortion. The black man was absolutely adamantly against abortion. The woman sort of equivocated, but it goes to the polling data that you have gathered, that I have gathered, that most black people are pro-life, but I bet those two people interviewed on Fox 4 in that news report, although they spoke adamantly against abortion, they said, I'm against abortion. I'm really convinced the black guy is. I bet both of them vote Democrat.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, a lot of that has to do with what takes place and what doesn't take place in the pulpit in the black community. The pastors often are sidestepping this issue, if they speak about it at all. If they speak about it, typically they're very mushy on it. Very few black pastors, pastors I would say generally, are actually speaking very strongly against this abortion issue. But even the ones that do, they don't make the connection to the Democrat Party and those who vote in the Democrat Party, and help people understand that your vote, when you vote to help someone get elected to office, who are saying that I will cast a vote to kill the unborn in the womb and make acceptable and legal and advance that you are, from a spiritual standpoint, strengthening the hand of the wicked. And that has to be the narrative that's driven in the church and in the Christian community to all who are soft on this abortion issue, on all moral issues, that when we put people in office who will strengthen the hand of the wicked, the Lord will hold us accountable for that. And most people, they don't want to go there. They don't want to deal with that reality, but it is a reality.
All right, let's go. Eugene Ralph of Game Changers. There you go. I tell you, put on your flame retardant Nomex. When he gets going, he gets going. It's a scorched earth policy. Eugene, what is the motto of Game Changers?
We are working to break the mental chains of progressivism with information, education, and activation. GameChangers.org, spells CHAINGERS. Check out our website. Hopefully it helps you out.
That's Eugene Ralph, my ultra-conservative soul brother. Thanks a lot, Eugene. Talk to you next week, my brother.
God bless.
That's it, Saints and Patriots. For yours truly, Apostle Claver T. Kamau-Imani, the Christian politician, your ultra-conservative soul brother. My enemies under the pink dome call me the purifier, and I like it. I even got all dressed up today for the video stream, and the video stream was all acting up. That should tell me something about the video stream. It should tell you something about making me do the live video stream. I love each and every one of you. From H-Town, may the Lord Jesus bless you. May the Lord Jesus bless the future, independent, sovereign Republic of Texas. Doc is up next.